You started out the first time you played together as well, being a four-piece was I don't know, some years ago, of course. But I read you did you played covers back then.
Yeah.
What was the first song that you actually played together with the four of you?
I think the first song we ever played, I mean, it's hard to remember what song it was, but our first show, I remember, I think we played other songs too, but we played Killing a Name by Rage Against the Machine, we played Love Song by The Cure, and we played Umbrella by Rihanna. And so it was a very eclectic mashup of songs, and, you know, Rage Against the Machine and Rihanna probably aren't, you know, most people wouldn't mix those two things, but we did, and it was just, you know, it was just something we wanted to do, and we're playing different kinds of songs, and we pretty quickly started to write our own songs and wanted to have original songs, but, like, I think at our first concert, those were the three we played, and it was a very eclectic mashup of songs. It was fun, and, like, we really enjoyed it, obviously, because we're still doing it now.
And maybe, well, the first songs that you actually, well, played together, so not being at a show, but actually playing you together maybe in some sort of rehearsal room. What was that song? Do you still recall?
Well, what's funny is that the first time it's weird the way it worked out for us as a band, is that there was this opportunity to play it was like this benefit kind of concert, and they wanted a band, and like someone, you know, asked my dad about it, and he was talking about it, and then we all kind of were like, oh, wait, like what if, like the idea is kind of like, oh, what if we tried it? Like we had never played together really before. So then we already had like a gig like lined up to play. So we're like, oh, I guess we gotta. That's when like we really came together for the first time. The four of us, like, oh, maybe we should actually get in the rehearsal and play together. So those three songs in Elementary were probably the first ones that we ever actually played together, like ever.
And how active was each member of you? I mean, the first time you played together, were you actually playing in bands back then?
Me and him were a little bit more. Cindy and Graham had it because they were really, really young when we started, and you know, I mean, like I think I was starting high school when we started the band. So for me, at least, I had other friends, you know, in high school who were musicians, and yeah, so I would play in some other bands, and me and Noah did some stuff together outside of it too. But for Cindy and Graham, they had never been in another like band environment before this one.
But they actually played an instrument, or she sang. Well, she had some experience.
Yeah, she had been singing her whole life, and I mean, as being a little girl, there's always like opportunities in like church to sing or other sort of random things that, or even just like she was always definitely a performer, so it came natural for her to do that.
Who picked up an instrument first? Did you? Because you are the oldest, but
yeah, I guess technically I probably was the first one. And I mean, I think I technically first started on piano, but I think it's how every kid, like their parents try to force them to play piano for a second, and they're like, no, they rebel. And then I think like my rebellion was I would like skateboard, and I wanted to play guitar. And so for me that was it. But what's funny is that we all kind of picked our instruments just kind of separately. Like I mean, I chose guitar first. I guess I had first pick, but they all kind of not because I was playing guitar. We never thought of being a band, so it wasn't like, oh, we need a bass player or we need a drummer, and everyone kind of just like naturally gravitated towards what they do. And I think every person, we all kind of like fit the instrument that we play. I mean, Noah grew into being a bass player. Like he was really small when he first playing, but now he's super tall, just like a typical bass player. And Graham was just, so he was very like rhythm focused, and like that's the way he just thinks. And so it kind of just worked out really well. We were all playing our instruments, and I'd like picked our instrument before we had ever played in a band together.
What made you gravitate towards the bass?
For me, I think, it's hard to remember like why I chose a bass, because I was like 6 or 7 at the time.
But what was the attraction for you?
Yeah, for me it was like, really like our father, he had this bass player that he played with a lot, and he was actually from the Netherlands. And I thought he was the coolest guy in the world. And he played bass, and he was like super tall, and he was like really happy and fun. And I was like, I want to be like him. And so literally because of him, and I wanted to be like him, I asked my dad, I'm like, get me a bass. I want to play like Bjorn. And so I got a bass, and it's pretty fun. Like a guy from the Netherlands was the reason I play bass.
What's his name?
Bjorn Floren.
And what band did he play in, or what was his connection to your dad?
They played in like different, like they're like my dad hired him to like play in recordings a lot and for like records that he'd produce and stuff. And he was a session musician. He just like, played around. He wasn't really in like many bands, but he just like played for like producers and stuff. And to me, like that was like such a cool thing. And he played this instrument. I was like very intrigued by it.
Are you still in touch with him?
Yeah, talk to him all the time. He's got this cute baby, and
I've mentioned it before. I'm like, you're the reason I'm playing today. You're the reason I'm playing bass. And it's like, you know, I was super young, so it's kind of silly. But like, no, we talk to him all the time, every once in a while. Like, just, you know, just keep up with him. He's a great guy. He's still a great family friend to us.
Is there how do you start a song normally? Is it for you the four of you together, or is it one or two persons who actually start with an idea?
I mean, it's usually, I mean, it's very collaborative, like no matter what the song is, but usually it'll end up us being like, we'll start, someone will have an idea and it'll kind of follow that. So it's usually not that, you know, we all like come, I mean, sometimes it'll be all four come in, but usually it'll, like someone has some individual idea that kind of starts to be like, hey, like check this out, like very casually, and we all lived, you know, when you're writing the record, we all lived in the same house, so it was super easy to be like, hey, check out this chorus I just wrote, or I'm just playing guitar in my room, and someone will come like, hey, that's cool, and then the other person will come in and like, hey, what are you working on? And the other person will come in and eventually be like, hey, get crammed too, and like all four of us will eventually then kind of be like working on a song, and but it's always very collaborative. It's never a finished Echosmith song until all four of us have our hands on it.
And do you write, if you are together, let's say the four of you in one house, do you write a song each day, or how productive are you?
It depends on the time, and I think when we were writing for a record, we were writing a lot. We wrote like 80 or 90 songs for the record, and you know, it's like, now we aren't writing as much because we're touring and we're super busy, so like right now we're not very productive when it comes to writing, but it's because we're touring and we're playing shows, and you know, every single day we're working a lot and we're doing lots of hours right now, so it's like we don't even really have time to write songs right now. And for us, it's like, you know, it depends on the time and the mindset that we're in. Like when we're ready to do our second record, we'll probably be in the mindset to write for that, and we'll probably want to like push more for that. And I think we're slowly starting to get into that, but we're just you know, going where life leads, and we're just going where the music leads us for now.
Well, the album is called Talking Dreams. It's also a song on the album. Is that a more important song for you?
I think it's not necessarily a more important song, but I think it was actually one of the last songs we wrote for the record, and it felt like it really is to kind of encompass what the rest of the record was about. Because each different songs have different meanings and different stories behind it, but they had a similar kind of feeling to it, and we felt like Talking Dreams really brought that all together, and it was kind of like this glue that was kind of like when we thought about what does this album mean, or what are we trying to say through it, and it felt like Talking Dreams really kind of just came out and happened. Even like when we were writing it too, it was a very like stream of consciousness kind of song, and just kind of like the lyrics for all of us, like we're writing it together, and like kind of just like started flowing out really easily, and all the parts really felt like came together really nicely. And so it's just one of those songs that just kind of like naturally came out, and kind of just the last song we wrote too, and just felt like, geez, this represents like where we're at and what we're looking forward to.
Meaning? Talking Dreams?
Yeah, I mean the dreams of, you know, like this is our first record, and this was our first time really like touring and, you know, doing a whole entire record, not just recording one or two songs. And so I think, you know, and then I mean there's dreams like we always dreamed of, you know, getting to come to Europe and play shows in other parts of the world and meet more people, and it was just kind of, you know, this big dream, and some of it we didn't think we could do, and it's been pretty cool that like we've been able to like live out a lot of those dreams that we had. And
what dream are you talking about now with the four of you?
I think, you know, a big dream for us now is just to kind of see what happens next and kind of let the music lead us, rather than us to have a specific plan. Like, this is where we want to be. We want to be playing these kind of venues. We want to be playing these kind of festivals and shows. For us, it's like, now it's like our songs are taking us to all these different crazy places, and we're going through Europe right now because of the songs we wrote. And now we're just kind of following that path and seeing where it leads, and we're excited about that, and that's the stuff we're dreaming on now, kind of that whole mystery of where life is going to take us.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.